Be the second go live.
Oh, now we're live. I see the timer clicking on the corner.
Why does it say end stream?
Yeah. We're live now.
No, you don't want to end stream?
No, It says end stream.
We're live now.
Yeah, we're okay. Somewhat. Well, on my phone, it's not. So it's my phone that has a lag. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Andromeda 7 Celestial Gateway. No, it's my phone that has a lag. I'm going to turn this one down. Sorry about that, folks. We don't have our illustrious hostess tonight and our producer, Lori Cross. And send her a lot of love. And she'll be with us next time for sure. But we're going to send her all of our vibes, okay? Good vibes for our producer. We love you, Lori. Feel better. And the rest of the team is here tonight to go through this final step in the process of the teachings of some of the mysteries teachings, especially as seen through the eyes of the Rosicrucians. But before we do all that, I just want to thank everyone for your patronage and your support and your love. This is your community for love, light, knowledge, and friendship. And quite a few of us have gone through some ordeals this past week due to cosmic events. And we hope that you got through the week with flying colors and that everything's going to be okay coming your way. So welcome to your community of friendship, love, and light. So Brian is going to pull a card or give us a message of some kind. Is that right, Brian, to start off the evening?
Yep.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. And then as soon as people roll in, I'll give a greeting to everyone in the chat room. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. Well, I actually drew 3 cards, and the first card I drew was the arrow card. And this is all about protection. It's basically talking about protection with people that don't have the same intent as you, people that are low vibration than you are. So it's telling you now, you're going to run into some of these people here soon. Just keep yourself protected.
The
next card that came up was the spring. So, everybody knows what spring is. It's all about planting the seed and letting everything grow. But you see the rabbit right there. So the spring, it's also bringing in prosperity, bringing in new beginnings because it is springtime. And, springtime is about the new growth.
There we go. So, now we can see it.
Yeah. So this is all about new beginnings, prosperity, planting your seed, letting your seed grow. And then the last card I got was the Protection Guardian. So this card was talking about this guardian's here to protect you. So it's time to let go of your fears.
Okay.
It's all about letting go of things that no longer serve you, your fears, anxieties, anything that you feel that you need to release. Get rid of it out of your life. It is time to do that because you are being protected by her.
Awesome.
So there's 2 cards of protection here. One is to keep yourself protected from negative energies and people. And then the other one is protection for you to let go of things that you need to let go of and know that you're going to be protected, even though especially with the fear. But a lot of people have a hard time with fear, and this is really talking about the fear. It's time to let go of all those fears and embrace what is going on.
I kind of get the feeling of the connection between those 2 cards is like a mirror image of one another. In other words, don't be the energy you don't want to be.
Exactly.
So you let go of your fears and your anxieties and understand that you have protection. And on the other hand, if other people are doing it, don't invite that in because that'll just trigger yours. And so they go hand in hand, those 2 together. So the spell, if you will, or the magic is in the understanding and the awareness that everybody says, be the frequency you want to be, which we'll be discussing tonight. But it's also about being don't allow yourself to be what you don't want to be. So, and I can learn that because I've had some moments this past week. So thank you,
Yeah.
Brian. Thank you for the message.
Yeah.
Really
Also,
appreciate that.
the next time that we go live, I'll have a lot of information on Venus because next month Venus is going to be interacting with a lot of planets. So
Yeah.
I'll start talking about that energy and the interaction of the planets for next month, just to kind of
Oh,
give people
good.
an idea of the energies that are out there and could be coming in.
Well, what was Nick just saying before the show about what's been going on this week?
Oh, the Schumann resonance, I believe it's what it's called.
Yeah, it's off the charts.
Yeah, it's been haywire for like the past 5 days straight, and everyone's starting to feel it.
And what kind of effect would that particularly would it cause? More
Well,
anxiety,
it messes
more
with the
stress?
magnetic field of the entire planet. So people who are in a negative headspace of sorts will probably have a lot of awakening afflictions or side effects like staying up all night, headaches, dizziness, nausea, etc. People who aren't used to that.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll have awakening symptoms. So
That's kind of, well, I knew I had it because I'm moving in just a couple of days, but
yeah.
There's been these last minute kind of things, and I thought that was what some of that sleeplessness was about. I've been also experiencing leg cramps and cramps in my muscles, and it could be because I'm doing more physically, but that's kept me awake too. Some people have headaches, migraines. Some people have backaches. My brother was having muscle spasms in his lower back.
Yeah.
So I think it affects our bodies in weird ways, doesn't it?
Yep.
Weird ways. All right. Well, let me.
Luckily, this episode will be talking about vibrations, so it'll give some people an idea on how to fix that, essentially. So
yeah. Well, let's give a shout out to, and Jasmine, it's so good to have you back. I'm so glad to see you. It feels like it's been forever.
Yeah.
So it's so wonderful to see you.
I decided to crash in today, even though I don't know a lot about what's going on, but maybe I can sprinkle in my 2 cents here or there.
Yeah, I hope so, because I love your sense of 2 centsness.
Thank you.
All right. Hang on just a second. We'll get up here where I can see everybody. So I'm going to do a call out to folks in chat. And let's see. Lucky Stone. Hi, brother. It's good to see you. I've been trying to fit in your walks in the woods and all the great things you discover with nature when you go on your walks. And I just haven't had the time to do anything. I hit the ground running every day, but it's good to see you, brother. And I hope you're doing well. Elderberry, Squirrel Buddy, good to see you, as always. Great affection for you, Barry. Grandpa Brian, of course. Then Nick is Ignis Draco, for those of you who are watching and don't know that. Let's see. Anybody else in here? Dave Taylor. Howdy, folks. Howdy to you too, Dave. Welcome. Glad to see you.
Dave is a real good friend of mine.
Is he one of your friends? Okay.
Yep.
How do you know Dave? Is he from the All My Relations group or?
No, I've known Dave for probably going about 7 or 8 years.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, welcome, Dave. And it's his first time watching the show, I take it?
He may have watched episodes, but I think this is the first time he's been here live.
Yeah, yeah. And we have a Robert Pierpont. Robert Pierpont, I'm not here. You're not here. Okay. Then I'm going to not say hi to you. Dave Taylor, 15. Okay. Welcome. Good to see you. Let's see. And that's about it for now. We hope others will eventually make their way in. Usually within 10 or 15 minutes, we have some other folks popping on. If I missed you, I apologize. It's hard to dig in. There's Chloe. Hi, Chloe. My eyes were all messed up. Well, we only have eyes for you, Chloe. Here you go.
Yeah.
We'll be your eyes, okay? Just listen with your heart, and you'll do fine tonight. It's good to see you. Well, we're so excited. This is our final episode in our new series, exploring esoteric societies that have kept their knowledge in secret for various different reasons. Not to be exclusionists per se, but to protect the faith and the knowledge from being persecuted and misconstrued and controlled in odd various ways. And each and every one of these societies has their own unique take on things and perspectives that go way back to some of the ancient teachings and writings that you'll see in Hermetics and in other places, the Bible, and other Sanskrit tablets and all kinds of bits and pieces of it that they've managed to keep and pull together. And it seems like, to me, it's almost deliberate. It's like if any one group had the total package, what would happen if that group lost the ability to share that information? So it's kind of interesting how the universe, how creator, what I consider source, creator, which is we're all a part of, carefully orchestrated the release of this information through various groups and said, okay, you guys go to the east and you take this piece, and you guys focus on this area and take that south. And it's almost as if it was a deliberate way of breaking down things to preserve it for times when it would be needed the most in various societies. And then this is our time to pull it all back together so that it makes sense. And it's something that we can actually apply in our day-to-day lives. Just think about that. It's possible that this was part of the master plan. And that's why there's so many different flavors of some of the same teachings. But there's also additions and reductions. For example, the Rosicrucians. We'll find out tonight. They narrowed down Hermetic principles into 7 very simple, what they call cosmic law, or cosmic, is it cosmic law or cosmic order?
They call them cosmic principles.
Principles.
And so to my knowledge, these were before Hermetics. Hermetics derives from this. So
yes, I know that is a perspective that some Rosicrucians have. Yes,
yes.
I know. I'm aware of it. That's the same type of perception that the Catholic priests have about the fact that they're the only true religion and that they go back in lineage to Christ himself. And they and only they can forgive you of your sins, and they and only they can teach you the right way to think about things. And it's been handed down from generation to generation, and we're supposed to believe that nobody outside of this chain of command over the centuries, a direct lineage to Christ himself. So a lot of groups, orders, religions, philosophies have studied these principles, and each one of them tries to take a piece of credit here and there. And Rosicrucians definitely started doing that it's around the same time that Steiner was involved with the Theosophical Society. And who's to say? They might be right. They might be a direct lineage from some of the earliest teachers and keepers of knowledge, which would make them about equivalent to, if not prior to, Nefertiti and Akhenaten, who were trying to teach some of the principles as well. So we can go way, way back with some of this, and we have the noetic experiences, the mediumship. A lot of mediums have brought in different spirits to comment on the origins of this. So, but tonight, we're going to let Nick take the lead, and we're going to let Nick share with us his take on what he's been understanding to be truth, and like he just did. And we're so looking forward to it. And then afterwards, we're going to take a few minutes to just go over what we've all gotten out of this and what we hope to do moving forward with some of this material, and give it a good go round. So without any further tongue flapping on my part, Nicholas, my co-host tonight, and thank you for being here and being willing to do this. And we are very excited to hear the finale of the show tonight. And what could be a better finale than going over universal law and breaking it down?
Yep, I couldn't agree more. I really liked how the book put everything together.
Yeah. And for those of you who are just joining, following numbers, greetings, number 44, Pearl Jones. Good to see you. Boy, it's been a while. You were here last week, I think. So as you're coming in, you'll notice that Lori is missing tonight, and we miss her. And I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, but she's just taking a much needed break and resting quietly and comfortably at home. And so we send her all of our love, affection, and attention and wish her the very best. And we'll see her when we come back later on for other programs. Go ahead, Nick. Take the bait and chomp.
Okay. You have to put the screen up, right, Teresa?
Yes. Are you ready to do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on just a moment. I'm going to first line us up here. I am not the expert that Lori is, so hang on. There we go.
Looks good to me.
All right. And I'm going to expand this a little bit so I can see it myself.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. So part 13, the 7 cosmic principles. The Rosicrucians teach that there are 7 cosmic principles present and operating throughout everything. When I went over this, it has a lot of similarities to the Hermetic principles, showing the influence they share. 2 of them are similar, while cycles is different from the missing one from Hermetics called mentalism. The rest are identical. Advanced occultists understand there are 5 principles hiding behind the scenes, while these 7 are shown in the light. Master occultists, however, are aware there is a hidden 13th principle as well that acts like the glue for the other 12. Same in nature with the zodiacs, along with the fact the heads of the Rosicrucians order represents one of these principles respectively. 7 in the occult is an important number, but I would debate that 13 is even more important, and is one of the reasons why they make it so taboo in our culture. It's using fear as a shield. The following slides will present the 7 principle that every student of the occult should familiarize themselves with. This series will not be going over the other 6. Maybe I'll add those to one of my classes. The perceptive student, however, knows that they have been shown already in this series anyways. The principle of correspondence. This principle is the most said, even when people who speak it don't fully understand what it means or where it is from. Here we get the old Hermetic aphorism, as above, so below, as below, so above. Fewer know the arcane axiom for this, ex uno dice omnis, meaning from one, know all. What this proclaims is simple. The nature and activity that govern an atom likewise governs the nature and activity of man, all the way to gods, and even further to the beings outside of the cosmic egg, like Sophia. What is true of matter is also true of spirit and mind. This principle is how the occultists can comprehend forces that are above our normal capabilities. If all things are linked, there are reasons behind it. Even an atom, or the all, has characteristics of a human. This principle shows that all the other principles are also applied to every other plane of being. It gives a guideline to the unknown. Studying the moneron will also give you comprehension on the archangel. Mastery of this is applying your micro lessons to situations that are more daunting at a macro scale, achieving success. So using correspondence is extremely useful for tackling big obstacles. You can reflect from past lessons and go, how can I apply my past lessons to this situation? And then you can use that as a catalyst and a guideline to succeed.
Yeah. But look at this, governing it means that the laws governing an atom also apply to humans.
Yes. So in the previous episodes, if you remember how I explained how atoms use elementary versions of attraction and repulsion, no different how like giant things like supernovas and black holes exhibit. That's what correspondence shows, essentially. That the microcosm is in similar nature to the macrocosm. So
this might sound like a ridiculous question, but you know that what is that theory that Kevin Bacon knows everybody, and it's so many steps from Kevin Bacon? What's that called?
Oh, I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Well, I've been experiencing a lot of that lately, as I run into people who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone that I know from somewhere else. This is a huge planet. What are the chances of me knowing somebody like Dalibor, for example? We were often in the same places.
Right.
And we knew the same people from those places, yet we didn't know each other.
Yep. It's funny how it works that way.
Yeah, and so we're finding more and more people. These are our tribe.
Exactly.
These are our soul groups, and we might not be side by side or in close proximity, but yet we find a way somehow to come together, whether it be on some project or it could be a field trip. We run into somebody and our soul recognizes them, even though we don't right away. Or we know somebody who knows them really well. It's just weird. It's just, So that would be the principle of correspondence at play, would it not?
That's law of attraction, which is one of the hidden five, which is explained. I think it was in part 5. I think it went over how bonds get tied together. It's usually from having the same interests. So most people in the occult would know other people in the occult. Most people in the military would interact with people in the military, stuff like that.
Wow.
And they will always be connected in some way, shape, or form because they've made that bond of a law of attraction. So that's how that works.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that.
All right. So on to the next one. The principle of law and order, also known as the law of cause and effect. Rosicrucians teach this principle shows there is no such thing as chance. Most people today hear there are no coincidences, even if the speaker doesn't know where it comes from. This principle of truth is embodied in the very term the cosmos. This derives from the Greek word cosmos, which expresses that the universe is created by arrangement and order, not disarray and chaos. This shows the careful thinker that the real nature of chance is simply something we haven't figured out yet to explain. It's the unknown, not chance. Every event has its cause and be cause. This is also the Hermetic principle of cause and effect. Mastery of this is when you start utilizing this karmic nature as currency, cashing in on your actions of light or paying off your debt using the dark. The universe likes to play with dice, but the dice are loaded. And the master occultist knows how to make those chances their results. This is what is called determinism. Rosicrucians and me do not believe in its opposite, fatalism. We make our own destiny through our choices, not having a destiny predetermined automatically.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
So the first one is more about how life mirrors each other, like the micro versus macro.
Yes.
So we have cities, but then there's colonies of bacteria inside us.
Yes, exactly. It's the same thing.
But it's a mirror.
Right, it's a mirror. Yeah, like thinking of Osmosis Jones, and how they symbolize that all the cells in your body are kind of like a whole universe or like colony. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just one's on a smaller level while the other's on a greater level, and they all mirror each other.
But that's the first principle. It's basically a mirror. It's basically a mirror between the micro and the macro.
Yes, and in understanding that, you can comprehend uncomprehendable topics like the God plane, for example. So, an example being is how they interpreted the Greek gods, how they made them very human-like in their mythos, similar to that. That's how the Greeks rationalized how they made their stories. So they acted like humans, but with these incredible abilities. So.
Okay, and then this new principle is basically like the science, or is this like the pendulum swings?
No. This is law and order. Law and order is the same as cause and effect. This is the one that has to do with karma, that your choices have consequences. Whether those consequences are good or bad are determined on what choices you make in life. Yeah. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of, to me, it's like, it reminds me of that science law that everything has an action, has an equal reaction.
Yes, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
A lot of modern science is derived from occult teachings. They won't admit that to you, but the whole thing with the aura colors, for example, they teach you that stuff in art class. They just don't tell you that it's attached to psychic abilities. So, yeah.
Good point. Lucky Stone has a comment here. Greek gods were omnipotent, but also fallible.
And Rosicrucians explain that in their teachings, that the God plane is at a level that we as humans can't comprehend, but they're still limited because it's not only is it not the eternal parent, they're not eternal. They're not the eternal parent. They're not the one that made all this, because they're subjected to the rules still. Not only that, but they're limited to everything that's outside of it.
Right. Right.
So yeah, gods to our perspective way powerful, but to an interdimensional being that is outside this cosmic egg looks like no different than a kid to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we interpret, symbolize, and show the different degrees in as above, so below. So. So, got anything to say about this one, Teresa, about Law and Order?
Well, typically people look at this as the scale of justice. And you know how they always show the heart being weighed in the Egyptian tradition?
Oh, with the feather?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the scale of balance. It's all about balance. So it's not about laws telling you what you should or shouldn't do, or punishment, which brings about order and control.
Right.
That's not what this principle is about. It's about the self-discipline within, is it not?
Yep. It's talking about how we make our own fates, not that fate is predetermined.
Right. So our choices are not made for us. We're making the choices, and the outcome is the order that we are experiencing.
Yep. That's why I'm always poking fun at teenagers. I go, I didn't wish to be born. Yes, you did. You just don't remember it. Everything that you feel like is predetermined destiny and you have no control over it is something that you agreed to before you were born, when you were in the when you're in your own little dimensional plane figuring out how your next life is going to play out. And even then, it's not set in stone. Like, while you're here, it can change depending on your will and your choices. I've done it 3 times since living. So I should have been dead a long time ago, but because of my progression, they allowed me to stay here. So,
yeah.
So yes, make your own fate. Don't let fate make it for you. Don't ever give anyone that type of power. You are the captain of your own ship at all times.
Yep.
All right, on to the next one.
Okay.
The principle of vibration. This principle is voiced by the old occult axiom, everything vibrates. Mastery of this can have sci-fi outcomes. Modern science has caught up to us in the occult, realizing everything is in fact in a state of vibration, and the natural forces come to be because of this. Examples being light, magnetism, electricity, heat, sound, and so on. This is also how alchemy transmutes material into something else with this truth. Aura colors that we discussed last week are also influenced by this. The occultists go even further than this and assert vibration happens on the mental and spirit plane as well. In fact, what segregates these planes from one another has everything to do with different degrees of vibrations, as I brought up examples of this in previous episodes. This is why some people are concerned about CERN and its intentions as they are experimenting on breaking that wall, whether they are aware of it or not. Remember the weird entities that manifested in the Miami Bayside Mall incident? It was very recent. Onlookers said that they saw a bunch of different alien or dark-looking entities that came out of portals. They tried to sweep it up under the rug, but a lot of people still talk about it. I would bet money someone was messing with vibrations at some scientific capacity and opened up the portal for those creatures to come out of. Whether it was intentional or not, who knows? Too often does the arrogance of man think, can we, instead of should we?
Mm-hmm.
Thus, this is proof that modern human investigation leads us back to the esoteric teachings of Atlantis.
To some extent, I would agree with that. Absolutely, especially those of us who have had some experiences or are close to those whom we trust and believe when they talk about theirs. I think that modern science still has a way to go, because you have a number of psychiatrists out there who would swear up and down that these people were experiencing a form of mass hysteria, that our consciousness is so fallow, weak. They see it as, perceive it as a weakness, that our states of consciousness are malleable. So if someone has the power of suggestion, then if they plant that seed of thought and one accepts that seed and starts to focus on it, it can grow. And that's how you end up creating a group consensus about something. And so you'll experience mass hysteria. Only once has that ever happened to me. I was at a spiritual conference. It was one of these places where you were listening to the Copelands, Kenneth and Gloria, I think it's Copelands. And I was with a group of Pentecostals, and we were in this very large auditorium. And these people were running around, zapping each other in the power of Jesus. And they would slap somebody on the head, and somebody would collapse on the ground. And pretty soon, everybody in that row started collapsing on the ground. It's like a form of excitement and hysteria, the crowd effect, and people bring in those energies. And so who are we to say that they're not experiencing a healing or they're not getting something from that? I was very judgmental about it. It not only because it's something I wasn't used to, and I really got upset when somebody tried to put their hand and smack me in the forehead, because I have a will and I wasn't willing that in, and I didn't know those people from Adam. I wasn't trusting what was going on. To some extent, I still don't, because I think what happens is a lot of people get excited about the idea of being spiritual, the idea of being saved, the idea of being able to save one another, to the extent that they'll do that and work in mass. And so they hype themselves into it. They pump themselves up. And the next thing you know, everybody's experiencing the same thing. This, however, to me is different, in that one or two people might catch a glimpse of something and try to convey to other people what they've experienced, and people are just so closed-minded they turn the other way, when they themselves may have seen it, because they're afraid of what I just described.
Right.
So it's fear of the unknown. It's fear of the unknown, and it's not having the ability to be open to the possibilities. And so the principle of vibration is
the most disservice that, in my opinion, that America has ever done to its people is suppress Nikola Tesla's knowledge.
Exactly.
Oh, I have to agree.
Is unknown. If
Absolutely.
Nikola Tesla didn't get thrown under the rug like he did, it would be commonplace right now. We would be the most advanced civilization by far. We would be on par.
I think so.
With the type of tech that he knew and the type of things that he realized in regards to things like frequency, vibrations, energy, and so on. It's all under lock and key. And instead of sharing it around, they've just weaponized it. It's foolish.
Yep.
What does that tell you, though, about universal plan? He had the knowledge.
Yeah.
Did the others have power over him to shut him down? Or was it just not the right time for humanity to hear what Nicholas had to say?
That's a good point.
It could be both.
Yeah. Edison did him dirty. Edison was a businessman, and he capitalized on making it a finite resource instead of keeping it infinite with the light bulb, for example.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and this thing about opening portals, and it's I like it. Is it Daryl Anka, whose channel's Bashar? I refer to him a lot because I just like the way he puts things.
Right.
But he says we all have a natural frequency. All these frequencies we are and can be. It's our natural ability. What prevents us from experiencing certain vibrations or frequencies is because we ourselves are keeping ourselves from doing it. Some oftentimes unknowingly, but we put up our own roadblocks. We put up our own blocks so that it's not about trying to learn how to be the frequency. It's just being that frequency and allowing it to happen.
Yeah.
Because the more you try, you build up resistance and you overthink it, you overanalyze it, and you're just not allowing it to flow because it is your natural state to be in all these different vibrations. And so maybe if more scientists would just go with the flow and not overthink things, they might start understanding and going, oh, wow, this is real. This is serious, And I do think more scientists are experiencing spiritual awakenings, don't you, Brian? Do you get the sense that more and more of them are waking up?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, Nikola Tesla was very spiritual. I'll share a video with you guys. I have to look at my saved archive. It was the last interview done with Nikola Tesla, and it is absolutely amazing what this man says.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Nick.
All right, so let's go to the next one. The principle of rhythm. This principle recognizes that everything manifested has a regular swing or time beat. Everything beats time is the occult axiom for this fact of the cosmos. Rhythm means regular occurring motion. Some basic examples showing this is how a pendulum swings or a metronome and how it ticks. Expressing activity from the opposite poles. Day and night, the seasons, sleeping and being awake, all of the tides, planetary movements, the spiral progression, these things and many more are caused by rhythm. To have the capacity to experience a level of joy, you must also experience that same level of sorrow. Masters of rhythm compensate by staying on their desired polarity, regardless of the lesson. This is emotional and mental mastery, which is a huge part of Rosicrucianism. The advanced student masters this by segregating themselves from less desirable outcomes, like the always proclaimed end times. Wasn't supposed to be the rapture. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Escaping the consequences of actions by those sharing this classroom we call Earth. Again, another big reason why I don't like being in large crowds, as those scenes tend to have a level of depravity that only those with emotional and mental mastery can notice. It's a hard pill to swallow, but when a large group of people get killed by an accident, this is that particular majority's debt getting paid in blood, as they have all participated in the same sin, the same beat, essentially. Do yourself a favor and don't allow yourself to turn into collateral damage for animalistic idiots or corrupted leaders.
Right on.
So, yeah, it's very important to not get caught in the
right
conflict.
on.
There is nothing gained in being a martyr. Nothing at all. There's nothing gained in joining the crowd in the current climate of today. So keep those things in mind, especially people who are extrovert, because they tend to get caught up in it more than anyone else. So.
I had a question about all this when I was much younger. It's probably way before your time. Some of us might remember Barry and others in the group. They're in the 60 age arena. But when I was a teenager, I asked my local parish priest. I was a Catholic, practicing Catholic back then. And I said, I don't understand how. Now, this might be a little sensitive to some people. So if it offends anybody, that's not my intent. But there were a group of nuns who were traveling together from one missionary to another in a South American country. They were behind rebel lines. They were traveling together in a group with good intent, good purpose, and good heart. They were sisters in fellowship. They were helping children and others. And so their intent was of pure love and pure light. And so they're going through the jungle, and their truck breaks down, or their vehicle, and they have to go on foot. They didn't get very far before they were stopped by a group of terrorists. And they didn't see spiritual people in a favorable way, let alone the Catholic nuns. And so they did horrible things to these women, and they buried them alive in the process.
Oh, wow.
And so one has to wonder, and I asked a local priest, why would God, see, I saw God as something outside of self. Why would the universe, why would God allow those women to experience that situation? They were serving humanity. They were serving the goodness of the greater good. Their intent was pure. They believed in the protection of the Lord. So why would they, maintaining control over your emotional state despite external challenges, imagine what they were going through in the last few moments of their lives. Because it was long and it was torturous, and in the end, it ended up in their death. So how does the principle of rhythm apply in situations like that? Nick, what's your opinion on that?
I don't know. That's a heavy subject. I have faith that God knows what they are doing. So
I have an answer.
Okay.
I knew, Jazz. I was watching you.
So for me, anytime I think of atrocious things or horrible things, or how could someone do this? How could someone do that? That's so vile. That for me, it's like animal cruelty. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Children cruelty, that doesn't make any sense to me, because to me, in my own heart, that why would you do that? It makes no logical sense. No, doesn't comprehend, right? But it's not supposed to comprehend for a reason. It's because your soul or your vibration is now at a different level. And in order for you to comprehend why that happened, your vibration will have to drop. And then it's kind of like what we learned in psychology. It's called the devil's mind, right? Or if you start to empathize too much with
Yes.
the patient, you will no longer be able to help them, because now you lowered yourself too far. You've lowered that vibration too far of where what they're doing makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, kind of like Harley Quinn to Joker.
Yes.
That's a good example.
That's a really good example. But it's just, so if it doesn't make sense to you, Lori or Nick, when you were going through that story or why it was so horrific, it's because it's not supposed to make sense to you. Because if it was, then you would be matching that vibration. So a quick pro quo, right? What kind of state of mind would you have to be in to think that you're doing a good thing when it's completely bad? What kind of darkness did you have to corrupt in your brain to think that hurting an animal, or most people that I talk to who say that they do abuse animals, and they're like, oh, they're put on this earth to serve us. We're the babies, we're the dominant ones. What we do to them doesn't matter. And it's like, oh, okay, so that's the lesson you got to learn. Like that's the way I see it now, is because that's the way they think it. That's the way they believe it. They believe that these creatures are made to be beneath them. And that's why it makes sense to them to treat them the way that they do. But to me, and to people who also respect animals, we understand that they are souls just like us. They are souls just as we walk and breathe. So are they. So are the insects. So are the plants. That's how it goes back into that that Buddhist teaching that everything has a purpose.
Purpose.
A life, right? And it's that respect of life. But that to me is the answer to that question. So.
Thank you. And I'm going to add to, but go ahead, Brian, do you have a thought on that?
Yeah. My thought is, there's people here that come down here to play the bad part. That is their purpose in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're there to have us learn lessons, help us learn those lessons. So you almost got to embrace them, because if it weren't for them, where would the lesson that you learn? What lesson would you learn?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Now you see now, you want to know what his answer was to me, this young priest?
You want to hear my answer?
Oh, now you have an answer?
I did have an answer. I just was trying to figure out how to word it.
Okay.
Oh, well, go ahead, Nick. You go first.
In my perspective, it could be multiple reasons because of how I understand how the occult works, or what they teach. It could be because someone's paying off a karmic debt. One of those things to do so was you would have to turn into the victim. Maybe they were the aggressor in a past life. Maybe they were the ones torturing people. So they had to play the reverse role to fully understand what they were going through. Maybe they're attempting that martyr thing. Like sometimes, like how, like sometimes babies die real early for no reason or cause. Most of the time it's because that soul was brave enough to give the people involved with the baby the lesson that they required. And they get rewarded for that in some capacity.
Yeah.
Other reasons could be because it's a global conscious thing. Depending on the majority's global consciousness determines what type of lessons need to be taught. The more people that are depraved, the harsher the overall lessons. So that's why I was saying, like in big crowds, when there's a huge death scene that is an accident, it's not really an accident. They all signed up for that same sin that resulted in that same consequence. So that is just them paying it off, essentially.
Right.
I'm not omnipresent. Right? So I don't know what each individual has done to get to that point of where they would get killed in such a way.
Or what they agreed to in their life's journey.
Exactly.
Trina Phoenix is in the house. Hi, Trina. Welcome, sister. Good to see you. We love you. And I know Lori would love to see you too. So she would give you her love and greetings as well.
And that's why I behoove people to respect your own personal space. Do not allow someone with that much karmic baggage hold you back. I don't care if they're blood. I don't care if you've known them for 30 years as a friendship. I don't care if you're married to them. If they're acting like a POS, don't let them drag you down. That is the best way to counteract.
Right on.
Activity.
Good, strong stance and good advice.
Yeah.
What he said to me.
Strongly. You have to, because so many people get caught up in their emotions and then they get dragged down with them.
Yes.
Yeah, I see it all the time, and it is extremely disappointing.
Yes. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Yeah. I myself have done that. But no, what he was saying to me, what I think is very pertinent to what's going on in society today. And that is that sometimes as a soul group, we bond together. There's safety and strength in numbers, And so that soul group of those nuns agreed to go through this experience because it was a reflection back to humanity to be aware of something very important. And this is what this priest was telling me, and I didn't understand it at the time, but boy, do I now. He said, sometimes the darkness has to shine through in order for there to be a catalyst to get the world to wake up and see something. And in this case, I said, what could possibly would the world need to see here? I was angry, And he said, well, as Lori would say if she were here, so you know what not to be, so you know what you don't want, so you know what the world doesn't need. And whatever's in opposition to that was your true vibration. And so sometimes the world's out of rhythm. And so this principle of rhythm to me, based on what he said back then and based on what I've experienced in my life since then, is that sometimes you need those rhythms to change in order to see a window to show you where humanity really doesn't want to go and would really be better off going a different way. And so the more you can feel those rhythms and get to understand those rhythms in a non-emotional way, as Nick was just saying, in an unattached way, but as an observer, and you observe these things but don't get sucked into it with your emotion, you begin to see the patterns of everything's a cycle. As part of the Earth's evolution, it's part of the evolution of the joint group collective consciousness as well as your own. So you first examine how it makes you feel inside and how you are going to respond to this and how you choose to respond to it. But then a larger group of society can also choose to respond to something in a certain way. We're going to stage a riot. We're going to tear down buildings and flip over cars, or we're going to join together and have friendly disputes and conversations and protests and freedom of speech and whatever we could do in a helpful, non-harmful way. That's just an example. So in the ability to read rhythms and understand rhythms is very much the same way an alchemist understands how to mix certain chemicals.
Yep.
Right? So you want to make sure you're obtaining what you need that brings you pleasure and helps you follow your passion, but at the same time, on a collective level, helping the earth to evolve into something more human, right? Is what someone would say, but it's not about more human. It's about more spirit. And how we can avoid bringing people like these Sandinistas into our conscious creation to allow something like that to happen. And so there's lots of reasons for it, but just think about those souls who agreed to have that experience to show the rest of us. The possibilities are endless, but they're trying to show us that it doesn't have to be that way. It's a very powerful teaching that those souls gave through the sacrifice of their human lives. That's how it was put to me. And I kind of feel good about understanding it that way now. They did it out of love. Believe it or not. Their humans may not have understood it at the time that it was their exit strategy, but what a way to go out.
Yeah.
What an act of love for humanity to show us that. Anyway, I'll let that rest, but I just thought that would be helpful for people to consider.
So, Jazz, do you have any questions about vibration or rhythm before I continue?
I'm going to go back to science real quick.
Okay.
So, did you know there is no such thing as cold in science?
Is what?
Yeah. Cold is supposed to just represent the absence of heat, right?
Oh, cold.
Why?
Because of the vibration.
Yes, that's true. So the slower something vibrates, the colder it gets. The more fast and more it goes, the hotter it gets. So that is one of the science parts of mastering vibration. That involves sound and heat. So, yeah.
We have a comment from Steve Bow. I've never understood the idea that suffering is somehow a noble thing. And Trina says, me either, Steve. I can't see how that would help. Well, hopefully, we just, the reason people suffer is their purpose would be a very unique experience, says Robert V. And I agree with that too, Robert. So thank you all, because, I think it's really hard to see the value, and I certainly struggled with it, but I'm starting to accept the idea of the universal plan.
This is something that I have to remember is that on this plane we have light and dark. As much as we try to stay in the light and we try to incorporate the light, we live in a non-idealistic world, and we live in a world that has both light and dark, which goes back to like the Bible teachings of like the tree of knowledge, and you will now know the good and the bad. Or if you want to say like the pendulum swing, like in order for people as humanity to be able to experience such high highs in peacetime, you also have to have low lows in wartime, because that's what keeps the balance in play on this plane. Maybe in the next plane, like in the 50 or the 60, all of the suffering wouldn't be necessary because we'll be linked again, like mentally. Like, so where we would feel what the other person is feeling, and we don't have to have these examples anymore. But unfortunately, in this plane, that's how people learn. It's kind of like if you put yourself in the I think one of them is a teacher. In a teacher's perspective, how would you teach this lesson to children? Not saying you would give them pain. I'm saying that we're here in this realm. We have our 5 senses, right? Some kids will learn by touch. Some kids will learn by hearing. Some kids will learn by smells. Some kids will learn by sounds. You know, all your senses. That's how people will learn. So I think it's not ideal. Definitely not ideal. Definitely not something I would ask for.
No.
But sometimes some people, in order to remember it, I feel like what would leave like a lasting impression, because there's 2 main things as
Good point. Yes.
that I've learned is 1, how do you gather information, and 2, how do you store that information? Because it's a good thing that you have it, right? But when you need it, do you have access to it? It's kind of like, oh, it's a good thing you have a seatbelt breaker, but if it's sitting in your house and not in your car, like, is it going to really help you? So just because you have the information, how are you going to access that information, right? People like Sherlock Holmes, I know he's a fictional character, but he had a mind palace, right? So he used his mind palace as a picture way of getting that information back. Some people, the person from The Psychic Witch, that book from Auburn, he says that he has like a search bar that he puts up in his brain and he looks at it like a computer. So these are different examples of how people retain that information. Sometimes in order for people to really acknowledge and embrace and not question the experience as if they go through it themselves. Some people don't learn by listening to others or hearing others. They have to go through it. And there's no right or wrong. It's just everything's mixed. So
yeah, some people say lead by example too.
Yeah.
Well, that's why. Oh, you go ahead, Brian. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I had a comment on the suffering and sorrow. You know, we've all faced that, and look how all of us have persevered over that and grown from that suffering and that sorrow.
Yep.
So you know, not all of it's real bad, but I mean, suffering's bad enough. But you see, like, you know, I come from an abusive background. You know, my father was abusive. And, you know, I've overcame that. So, you know, some of the suffering, you know, a lot of the suffering, I know a lot of people in here, or you wouldn't be here. You persevered over that suffering, and look how much it's helped you grow. That's basically all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
But that's why I find learning these things really important, because you can mitigate the damage in your lessons. If you have these tools to your advantage, you can figure out lessons a lot faster with a lot less repercussions. That's my favorite part about it. Because as a kid, I went through hell. Finding this stuff, even though I might still be going through hell, that hell gets softened because I have the masteries that I do nowadays.
That's right. The more you learn about this, the more mastery and the more strength you gain.
Yep.
Folks, this is a deep dive, as you can see. And so some things are a little touchy, but it's important that we have these conversations. That's the beauty of these principles.
Yep.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you.
All right, so let's go on to the next principle. And this is the one that is a Rosicrucian exclusive that I found so far, and this one's called the principle of cycles. This principle expresses that all things are on a continuous adventure of progression from the lowest to the highest form of being. The axiom to this is everything proceeds in circles. Everything progresses in the upward circular spiral, which makes this principle closely linked to rhythm and vibration. The key to mastering this is to not go into a paradox, or worse, spiraling down, forming regression. A paradox is running in circles, causing a cyclicality of stagnation. Correct cycles spiral upwards, transmuting them into spirality. If you catch yourself repeating a struggle over and over, realize you need to change your approach for progress on the lesson. If you're too stubborn to change, have fun suffering, I guess. To create the spiral, you must focus on the center point and will it to rise. My theory is this is referring to your soul, the heart space that is symbolized in the center of a cross. In other words, if you want better in life, work on becoming a better person.
Mm-hmm.
And this spiral is actually the symbolism to the Caduceus staff.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like this illustration because it shows that the symbolism of the Caduceus staff is really connected to the 7 chakras, which is symbolism for the 7 planes and the progression that you get until you're illuminated and pass the whole entire test. That's huge symbolism right here, just on this simple picture. Very important.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any questions about the cycles?
It reminds me a lot about the Enneagram, honestly.
Oh, yes.
Kinda, yeah. I was noticing that too the other day, and I went back to find the information on the enneagrams,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't find it. I don't know what I did with my note file, but I'm like, it's part of your personality. It's part of your mixture to go through each portion of this, is it not?
Yeah, I feel, and then especially with the whole progression and regression. So it kind of like the Enneagram helps you figure out like what your core number is, like the reasons why you do what you do. And it's usually family, like upbringing, like your early childhood self. And then as you integrate through life, you integrate into the next number, or you disintegrate into the back number. So either you're going healthy or you're going unhealthy. And I feel like the principle of cycles kind of refers to that. But it also, with the chakras, because I liken the chakras to, what's his name? I always forget his name. Hylo's hierarchy of the human needs or something like that. I wish I had looked into it. But it's a triangle that says like our basic human needs, and it matches what the chakras do. So your first basic human need is for safety and security in the physical. So that's food, water, shelter, right? And that's what our red chakra represents. It's our safety in the physical. And then it just goes up from there. So I feel like the law of cycles is basically, to me, what it's representing is everybody is somewhere on the loop. Someone's going through different phases. Someone's going through different gates.
Yeah.
Do you have to do that right now?
Sorry. I'm trying really hard to be patient because I have a secret to share.
Just over here, like blocking my entire view. Like, thanks. Go ahead, go.
No. Go. You first.
I'm done.
You're done?
Yeah.
Now, children, do I need to separate you?
Okay, so I want to explain what I know about the chakra systems. That, I mean, it's kind of obvious once you realize it, but they don't really talk about it. I've never seen anyone actually talk about it, at least not out loud. So there is this thing called the anti-tree of life and the tree of life, okay? These chakra systems, the 7 that are encompassed in our body, are the middle ground for these trees symbolically. The reason why Rosicrucians beg you to spiral upwards and not downwards is because once you start going under the root chakra, you will start going into demonic territory called the anti-tree of life. Why would you not want to incorporate that into your life? Well, you would think it would be common sense, but I'm going to bring it up anyways. Okay, so if you integrate into that frequency, you will get things like demonic possession. You will get demonic attacks where you have bruises and claws, scratches, and all that stuff on your body, and you don't know where they came from. You will get attacked sexually. It's happened to plenty of people from what I've seen and heard about. You will go into mental episodes. This is the cases of like schizophrenia, bipolar, all that stuff. There is a spiritual link to it that a lot of people aren't realizing it. And because of their degenerate choices, they are essentially allowing themselves to go into that negative playing field. So essentially to the demons, you're free game at that point because you're matching their energy. You are on their playing field now. You're no longer on a human playing field or an angelic playing field. You're on their playing field. And how their rules go, essentially, is what happens. So that's the anti-tree life. The reason why Rosicrucians always talk about going up, 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 up is because they are teaching us how to ascend into the demigod state. The state that you want. I promise you, you want to go that route. I promise you. I've seen what happens to people who go the other way. It is not a fun time. I had to fight that stuff as early as like 11 because my family was riddled with corruption. Okay, yeah. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. I one of my dogs died protecting me from one of these dark entities because of how much it started physically manifesting. Okay, it's not a game. This is not a game. All right, I want to reiterate. This stuff is not a game. It's time to step up. It's time to get serious. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy life in the process. But
of course,
have you ever heard that saying? If at first you don't succeed, try again. That doesn't mean bang your head against the wall and keep doing the same thing over and over until it eventually happens to turn out right.
Yeah.
It means taking a deeper dive within your own inner soul and saying what worked for me and what didn't work for me, and how am I going to do this differently the next time? What am I going to do different? What am I going to do better? What can I do to strengthen myself or others around me? So this part of you here, number 5, true progress spirals upward, repeating struggles, signal a need for a new approach.
Yes.
If you're doing a rinse, recycle, repeat, then you need to ask yourself, if you can get to that state of awareness where you realize that that's what you're doing, you got to examine why. What didn't work? Yep. All right, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to try until you pass your initiation. But if all you're doing is spinning your wheels like a hamster in a cage and you're getting nowhere, it can be very discouraging. And I know even in this lifetime, in this now, as I'm doing things over and over, I'll see myself making the mistake. Just last night, I responded to something I could have responded better to with another person. And I allowed it momentarily. It's kind of like a button gets pushed and a smokestack goes, and that pressure I've talked about, the tea kettle exploding, you just don't want to do it with another person. But yet I'm aware that I have done this repetitively throughout my entire life because of who I am in this, who I was. I'm evolving and transforming into something better, I hope. And so I sit down today and I go, what could I have done differently? How could I have responded better? How could I have responded more effectively? Same thing happened again today, though. Something set me off today that made my blood pressure just go way off the charts. And I was just like, argh! And it lasted a little bit too long. And so I keep repeating the same things. I'm not passing my initiation. Yeah. So I had to sit down again today and take some time out of my schedule to go, breathe. Just breathe. Just be with nature. Just be with spirit. What am I not getting? Why is this happening 2 days in a row? 2 similar situations. I knew I didn't like the way I responded before. Why am I still responding that way today? Old patterns are hard to break. So give yourself a break. Don't overthink it. You're tired. You're accomplishing a lot. Give yourself credit for what you are accomplishing. Allow yourself to enjoy the future vision of what's to come. And eventually that'll go away because it's part of, like you were saying, there's things going on in the cosmos. There's things going on within. I'm tired. I'm not eating the same way I normally eat. There's all kinds of reasons why that may have happened. Just my being aware of it, though, is a major step.
It is a huge advantage. Knowledge is power. So, yeah. So
that's why I think it's very important to be the observer sometimes, because when you can step back and observe what the triggers are, then it's easier not to allow them triggers to affect you.
Yeah. Be the observer of your own self.
Yep.
Yep, I'm trying to do that.
Yeah.
Even right now, I'm still trying to be the observer of what is all going on.
Yeah.
Because it's very important to observe and not, because when you observe, you're able to take in more, I do believe.
Yeah.
So-
But love yourself. Love yourself
Yes.
in
and
this process, right, Nick?
Yeah, and one of the best things you can do that signifies you love yourself is using that spiral that is in this picture to better yourself. Like I said, the snakes represent the Kundalini energy going up your chakra system, which is also represents the spine, because what the Kundalini energy actually is the spinal fluid that is in your body. It gets oppressed through sexual brainwashing. The more you give off your sexual energy in vain, the less you can tap into these powers. So that being said, if you figure out the exact day you were born, not the Gregorian calendar, learn the cosmic calendar, that's your real sign. You tap into that. Every beginning of that cycle, you get a refresh of this spinal fluid liquid. Use that liquid to go up the stairs that are the chakra systems. You tap into that crown after activating the first 6 prior to it. That's when you start tapping into things like remembering. That's when you start tapping into things like ESP abilities. That's when you start tapping into the thing that the popes don't want you to tap into, because if you do, they'll be out of a job.
Yeah.
So
now, you're not advocating that everybody should just go out and get their favorite magazine and
No, I'm saying use that sacred Christos, as they call it,
yes,
wisely. Don't just waste it, because there's other people out there that are using it for purpose, and they are taking advantage.
Yeah.
So
the short and sweet way I can say about the sanctity of sex is sex sells, and sex sells for a reason.
Yes.
So if the bad guys know that, just be aware that they will use it to manipulate you. So just be a little aware and cautious about
how you direct that energy power. And why.
Exactly.
It's all about intent.
Yep.
It's all about intent. Look at relationships. Look at intimate relationships that fall apart within weeks. Because there's the physical gratification, but not the spiritual connection.
Yep. They're just going for the lust, and that lowers the vibration, which is not what you want to do. See, having sex for fun isn't bad. It's the intention that's behind it. Like I said, in the epoch of Lemuria, that's what everyone was doing. Everyone was making each other just for the fun of it. But because they were in a feeling, loving mindset about it, it was okay. But now that everyone's doing it for power, everyone's doing it for control, everyone's doing it to hurt someone, everyone's doing it to just the wrong reasons. That's why it's so corrupted today. And that's why it feels like so many few are actually tapped in nowadays, because they're wasting their tapped in potential on stupid stuff, essentially.
Couldn't the same thing be held true for any one of these parts of the spiral, any part of the chakra system?
Yes, that's why I said you have to work. You have to start on the root and then work your way up.
Right.
In order. Right. That's how you truly activate it. Because, we're human. We're not going to be perfect. Sometimes all of them besides, your throat chakra will be activated, for example. If that one chakra is not activated, it doesn't work. You're not fully tapped in. That's just the way it works. To ascend to the demigod stage, you have to unlock all these 7, because in order to unlock the next 7, these have to be fully activated. Just like how I said, if you go too far, you start activating the anti-tree of life. If you go up too high, you start activating the higher tree of life that is above this one. Because these chakras represent the human condition. The ones above are demigod, and the ones lower are demonic. That's just how it works. So, yes, if you want better, if you want more joy, if you're tired of always suffering, That's what you got to do. You got to learn how to activate into that next 7 phases of chakras. And there's plenty of chakras. Like, it's not just like the middle, the bad one, and the good one. There's degrees to this. There's some that are even lower than what I'm describing, and there's some way higher than what I'm describing. Which
Right.
I know some Eastern teachings actually go into that. They call it, that's where you get the dimensions. So right now, this is 3D. This chakra system helps us activate the 4D. Above that is the 5D. So some mediums like Jim, they're already in that demigod state, activating 5D, doing stuff like astral projection, seeing aura with clairvoyance, stuff like that. That is the next step. Some people get so stepped on that they start going through demonic possession or getting fractured or demonic attacks, to the point where you need exorcism. All this stuff happens. I behoove everyone who gives me the grace of talking to go up in the spirals like the Rosicrucians teach.
Mm-hmm.
Life is much better that way.
Yep. That's why it's important when using tuning forks, you start with the root chakra and work your way up with the tuning forks up to the crown, because you want everything to go up.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yep.
I was going to say two
Go ahead.
on what you were talking about earlier, Lori. So I made a deal with myself because my anxiety and I used to be on buspropion for my anxiety. I used to be on amitriptyline. I used to be on Zoloft. I had so much medication that I used to be on 3 years ago. It's ridiculous. Okay.
Yeah.
But what I noticed is that there was one struggle that I kept having with one question of how much is authentically me? Like, me feeling these emotions is authentically me, right? And how much of it is it not me, right? How much of it is it my choice and how much of it is it not my choice? Because having those emotions is authentic, right? But now I've learned that emotions aren't bad. They're just different flavors and different spices of life. And I don't have to become my emotions, right? So just because my emotions are strong doesn't mean that I have to envelop my emotions. And the third thing that I learned is that I have a threshold now, right? So instead of turning the dial all the way to 10 over something minimal, now my crime has to match my time. So
Yeah.
people that I let have that much access to my emotions now is my inner circle. My inner circle, like, I'll meet them with emotions. I'll talk to them with emotions. I'll be there. I'll be emotionally available, right? And so I'll have to catch myself because, like, if Nick tells me something, I'll be like, what? Why'd you say it? Like, I'll be so emotionally charged. But if someone from work told me that, I'd just be like, I would meet it with like a cool, calm, collected face.
Yeah.
But because he's saying it, I'm like, the hell are you saying? What are you? And then I'm like, wait, just hold on. You have to give him the same grace that you show these other people. You got to remember, even though he's in your inner circle, you still got to practice this stuff. Like how we were saying in the rhythm cycles, like, we don't want to be trapped in the same cycle over and over again. So I made a deal with myself that I can't go to a level 10 unless X, Y, and Z happen, if that makes sense. So when I start feeling my emotions start bubbling, because I don't know how it is for you, but for me, like with ADHD, being angry is addictive, because then all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm angry about this. Now I'm angry about that. Now I'm angry about this. Now I'm angry about the world. Now I'm angry about this. It's like, it starts to pile out of nowhere. And it's like, where the hell did this come from? And then all of a sudden, the light's too bright. The cat's too loud. I get overstimulated.
Yeah.
And then I start acting crazy, and I start throwing dishes and stuff, and then I start being toxic, and I'm like, oh God, I'm a mom, so I can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
You sound like my mom. She threw the dishes too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's funny in retrospect, but like,
when you're going through it, it's just horrible.
Oh, it's horrible. And then when coming down, like, I went through what you went through, like, how can I be so stupid? I know better. Like, I know that that's not the type of person I want to be. I know that I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be, like, I should have the capacity for this. Why is it so hard? I've been learning this stuff for years. So then now
Yeah.
that as soon as I start feeling myself bubbling, I ask myself, is this a fight that I'm willing to fight? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it worth it?
Yeah. Is this a battle that I choose to?
Yes.
Yeah, I've done
Is
that
this-
too.
Is this the
And
hill I'm
if-
going to die on, right? And then I
Yeah.
start thinking about, like, if this was the end of the world, right? And this was the last thing I did, am I gonna be mad at myself when I get to the other side?
Well, now
And I-
you're an analyst just like I am. You and I have that in common. We're both controlled, planned, organized. We analyze. So we get frustrated with ourselves.
Oh yeah.
I think, Jasmine.
We have
So-
such high expectations for ourselves because we know we can do it. We're
Yes.
just trying to figure out that transition point.
Yeah. And maybe it's our way of overthinking things, but there are times, and I don't know about you, but since you
Mhm.
are a lot like me, or I'm a lot like you, we reflect one another.
I like it.
When we approach something, we know this is a legal issue or this is a serious issue.
Mhm.
So I'm not being overreactive. This is a serious issue. And the people around you are just not getting it,
Oh God, yeah.
or they're assuming that you're being overreactive. You're being overreactive. No, I'm being practical because I know what's at stake here. And yes,
Mhm.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that these things won't happen. But if you don't consider it, you don't prepare for it, you don't document it, you're going to be sorry.
Oh man, this reminds me of the time when I was playing D&D with her, Hannah, Lily, and Zach. I was talking about the Philosopher's Stone, and something tapped into it, and they didn't like that I was talking about it with them, so they were trying to burst our freaking protective field. And Lily and Hannah were just over there. Oh, it's not a big deal. It's fine. I'm just like, the hell it is. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, with marbles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you gotta remember.
Yeah, I spazzed out a little. I
Yeah.
had to show them how important it was. I felt like that was
Yeah.
the only way I'd be able to express it correctly to them. That sure they might be upset with me at the moment, but
And so you resonate with the fact that you might be ruffling feathers, but you know it's needed.
yeah,
And so you take a breath and you go, okay, I'm going to hang up now. I'm going to go document this. I'm going to hang up now. I'm going to end the conversation because I am allowing myself to react in a way that I don't want to.
Yes.
So I'm
Yeah.
at least cognizant and aware of what could happen. I'll talk to you later. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And then I go and document it because I need to do it because it's a legal issue. And you take care of it
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yep.
let it go and you don't
Yep.
bring it up again.
yeah,
you know?
and that's something that I am still working on because I have a tendency to double down when I feel like someone's not getting it.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I feel like I'm getting better at it, but
But I think it's important, and Lori does point this out to me. Lori, I'm sorry, I'm going to quote you so many times tonight because I miss you. You're so valuable to the conversation. But she does point out numerous times, over and over, the value of saying, okay, now let it go.
Mm-hmm.
You experienced it, let it go. Remain positive at all times. Give yourself a break. Don't beat yourself over the head. Accept who you are. But congratulations for recognizing it as something that you're willing to work on. But you have to be willing to work on it. But give yourself a break. Don't be so hard on yourself. And she always gives herself the pat on the back, the Mickey Mouse pat on the back. Congratulations. She goes to Spirit. Spirit congratulates her. Spirit reinforces with her. She'll say to me, have you tapped into so-and-so lately? Have you tapped into your Phyla lately? Have you tapped into Nathaniel? She'll mention different ones. What's their take on how you're acting right now? She's reminding you that all aspects of yourself are being integrated, and part of your transmutation of all this negative energy is to focus on what's right about this, what's good about this. What can you get out of this situation? Not I'm losing this kind of money. I'm gaining this as an investment. Not that I'm losing my memory of those wonderful days and moments, but I'm creating something new now within. It's always the reflection of the positive side of it that she brings to the table for me. And it helps me to realize You don't have to rinse and repeat. You've already been there, done that. You've come out of that. You're a new creation now.
Yeah.
So even if there's these moments, don't beat yourself on the head, but give yourself credit for recognizing it. Now, what are you going to do about it the next time?
Right. Well, I have acknowledged the fact that the reason why that happens, like why my reaction gets so strong like that, is because I had past people who did not listen to me and got killed for it. So so to me, it's like pattern recognition of PTSD. Like I care about this person. I don't want to see him get hurt. Basically, this is my way of trying to protect them. Yeah. Yep. So with acknowledging that, I've been doing my best to mellow out with all that stuff, because I'm starting to realize at the end of the day, it's free will, and it doesn't matter how much sense I make, they're going to do what they want to do.
Yes.
All I can do is control myself. So.
Yeah.
All right. On to the next principle. So the principle of polarity. Principle of polarity. What?
The baseball bat in the machete.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a good example of what I'm about to talk about. The principle of polarity dictates everything comes in pairs. Everything has its opposite, which is the other pole of its manifestation. Polarity is the principle that makes this all to be to begin with. You can find pairs of opposites in anything you perceive. Mastering this is realizing the poles are not separated. They are in unity to a point where you can find the concept of the singularity where everything is connected. This gives you balance. A simple rule of thumb, for example, dark and light in harmony is good. One dominating the other is bad. Too much darkness, you get corruption. Too much light, you get radicalism. You get that sweet spot, everything's kosher. Is essentially what they're teaching here. If you can't find a thing's opposite, it simply means it hasn't been discovered yet. It exists, we just don't know about it yet. A very big lesson to the principle of polarity is the love and hate concepts. You having the capacity of one for someone means you have the same capacity on the opposite spectrum. And, you know, at first glance, people, you'd be like, ew, I will never love so-and-so. Or, oh, how could I hate so-and-so? He's the love of my life. You have the capacity for it. You are essentially expressing one side of that spectrum. It's all together.
It's a matter of giving yourself permission, one over the other.
Yep.
And it's going to change depending on what passion you're following at any given point in time, and you're focused now.
Yep. And, you know, it could be a number of variable of things. It could be because of their choices towards you. It could be because circumstances that happen. Could be a lot of things that can make the pendulum teeter, or the polarity rather, teeter from blunt to sharp, or sharp to blunt. So mastering this is very useful for the occultists, as it is an important factor for the transmutation of things. As
I think it's interesting that you have brought these two symbols out, not just because they made me laugh.
Yeah.
Notice that the sword or the knife, although it can chip away at the blunt bat, which is wooden, it would take a really long time for that sharper sword to destroy that blunt instrument. At the same token, that blunt instrument can put a lot of dents into the sharp sword itself. It might even dull its blade from time to time, but it would take a lot for that blunt instrument to totally demolish that sharp edge.
Which that shows you the degrees. That blunt bat, you can make sharp. And that sharp katana, you can make blunt.
Blunt.
Yep. They can teeter back and forth on the degrees.
That's the alchemy.
That shows you that they're one and the same, because both sides have the potential to become the opposite. That's how it works. So another good example I like to talk about is weather, like temperature. What is cold to the Canadian is freezing my arse off as an American. Someone living on the equator, probably chilling. I go to the equator, I'll be sweating bullets because we are acclimated to a different degree of weather. So that mastering this concept helps you differentiate that opposing sides are really one and the same. I could also apply this to politics, Republicans and Democrats.
Sure.
Huge different degrees, but at the end of the day, they're part of the same team of America. So even though their ideologies may differ, they're still on the team.
Right.
In regards to the country. So you can apply this to anything. Like I said, if it exists, it has an opposite. It cannot exist without its opposite. That is one of the universal laws of this plane. So let's go on to the next principle. If it'll let me. Okay, here we go. And this is the last of all the principles. This is called the principle of sex.
You saved the best for last, Nick.
I'm telling you, you know me. The axiom for this is sex is omnipresent and all-pervasive in the universe. All creation is generation, and all generation comes from sex. We explored this truth in previous episodes when discussing the 7 planes of being. This principle of the masculine and feminine isn't just physical. It is applied in the mental and spiritual sides of the Holy Trinity as well. Hermetics calls this principle of gender. To master this is to have the emotional intelligence to attract these energies into one. This blend of the two opposing genders forms creation of any kind. Even if you are ignorant on the matter, having a child is you participating in physical mastery of this concept. Mental mastery is blending your subconscious and consciousness together, essentially birthing your rebirth. Activating this is how you create profound ideas, brand new inventions, how you tap into your ESP abilities, like your past life memory, your clairvoyance, your astral projection. That's how you tap in. You start blending your subconscious, which is considered your feminine side, and your conscious, which is considered your masculine side, into synchronicity. Not synchronicity, into synergy. Very important hint for anyone that is wanting to tap into magic. The spiritual mastery, however, is too advanced for me to teach in a public setting, as abuse of this wisdom has dire consequences. It stands to reason why even I, a messenger in training, don't think it's wise to give the nature on how souls are born. I, however, did indeed figure it out without realizing it when I birthed a dragon guide on my own for Jasmine's best friend, Amy. She was going through something. I wanted to give her some sort of protection. She was far away, so I had to figure it out. I made it happen. She no longer needs it, so now he's with me. He's my kid. I'm going to keep him. Like the simple as that. However, with this being said, there are plenty of hints in this series from episode 1 to now that answers to guide the students who are ready for this revelation that echoes the ability of gods. So, any questions on polarity or sex?
I think the point you made about the misuse of anything, let alone sex, can have serious consequences. I'm going to speak out for a group of people who experience in this lifetime wanting to be in the physical body of one gender or another, but having the spiritual understanding internally that their soul is primary of a vibration other than that which the physical side has brought about in the birth. And so as they progress through life and evolve and mature as adults, they come to realize who their true nature really is. And they come to realize that it's okay to be whatever that true nature is. That just because the physical expression of it was a certain way, that was for you to learn certain lessons in that physical way. But you can also remain your true self in your spiritual form of recognizing who you really are as a soul. And it might have more of one attribute than another in terms of how the energy is expressed. So you can choose to bring that into your consciousness. You can change your reality and experience and express yourself in any different way you so choose for the lessons you want to learn. But always know that your true nature and true essence isn't really here in the physical plane. It actually lives in the etheric realm. So you can respect one another for your differences and accept those who have other differences just by understanding that we created the polarity and the differences so that we could experience life in the three-dimensional reality through procreation. And so some people's life journey are to be spiritual partners, to bring other beings into the world and to create other human bodies for other souls to incarnate. There are others that are here for different reasons and different purposes. How you act is entirely up to you. How you perceive yourself is entirely up to you. If other people want to sit back and judge, condemn, complain, or say you're being not natural and you're not following the natural order of things, you don't know what you're talking about. Because the natural order is exactly what we're describing, is that there's polarity even in the etheric realms for a reason. And it all has purpose. And you are a beautiful soul who has purpose no matter what your choices are, in either this physical world or in the etheric realm. Because I know I've been incarnated as a male. I've been incarnated as a female. So whatever you choose to experience in your life and in this now is entirely up to you. And if you have to oppress it or suppress it or hide it, ask yourself, am I doing this to serve a higher purpose? And if so, then you do what you need to do. And don't be hard on yourself for doing it. Don't let your friends push you into being something out in public that you might need to keep private because you feel you need to do that. So this whole thing about the principle of sex goes beyond physical actions. It goes into the human heart, into the human soul, and into the higher mind of the experience. And so if you can not allow yourself to be used or abused by people that are trying to exploit those things in you or to suppress those things in you, you do what you need to do for the period of time that you need to do it until you get through it. You ride the wave, you go with the flow, and never forget who you are. Never stop believing in yourself, and be who you were meant to be, whatever that is for you. Follow your passion, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Not a religious group, not a group of sanctimonious people, not a group of ultra conservative people. They're all going to have their opinions on how they live their lives, and they choose to live their lives differently. That's okay for them. You be you. You be who you are, and you stand up for who you are, and just be natural and enjoy the ride. Okay? Enjoy the ride. Spiritual mastery requires caution, as misuse can have serious consequences. Some insights have been shared gradually for those prepared throughout the series. Bingo, Nick. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yep. I feel like stuff like this is very important. I feel like a lot of people get swept up into the 9-to-5 type of scenario where you're always being hyper-focused on the physical or you're stressing out on the mental realms. I feel like a lot of people are needing these outlets for the spirituality side of things. So I am glad that I can be someone to be that outlet for, as teaching this stuff has been one of my favorite hobbies for a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing it. Yeah.
Yep. So we got 2 more slides. The last one,
Okay.
the next one is going to be for the Q&A, along with the reference to the book that I have been studying and sharing
Okay.
with you on my perspective. And then the last one is for Jasmine. So Lucky mentioned that he was saying that I know so much that I should go ahead and make my own channel. Well, me and Jasmine have actually been working on a website. It's not up and running yet, but we're working on it. And once it's done, I'm going to have a bunch of metaphysical classes on stuff that I know. Like this is just scratching, like the Rosicrucian stuff. This is just scratching the surface of all the types of magic that I know. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but yeah, I know a lot. So for this slide, for the remainder of the episode, we will use this time to let you, the viewers, ask any questions we can publicly answer. Afterwards, I'll bring up mine and Jasmine's website we are working on, where my classes of the archaic arts shall be. The following picture is of the book, if you want a more detailed version of what I have been teaching with the Rosicrucian doctrine. Another good resource to go to about all this is you can find a free audiobook presentation on the YouTube channel of the Master Key Society. So that YouTube channel is where I found this book initially. And when I found it, I was like, oh my God, it's like Hermetics. So part of the rabbit hole I want to go to. So yeah, those are good things to know. So I will stop yapping for a couple minutes, see if anyone has questions.
Let me just add. Let me just add before we jump into that this book really does represent. I think the Rosicrucian perspective on things really does represent the most voluminous. Am I going to use that word? The most information.
Yeah.
That you can have out there. I had to do it the hard way, not having something like this and not even knowing about who they were. By individual study of each and every group, and then trying to make up my mind, what does this mean to me? And what's the esoteric value of all that? It took years and years and years to pull it all together. Whereas what they've managed to do is tap into the best of every other tradition that they could stumble into, and then pull that in as a teaching and actually work it, experience it. As if they were originally in that school, and some of them were, in terms of their forefathers. So it is probably the most condensed book of eclectic information, but they've managed to pull it into levels and stages of teaching and initiation that can really help bring you to a new insight, a new practice, especially if there's an area you're weaker in, right, Nick?
Yep, it fills a lot of puzzle pieces, in my opinion. There's a reason why the Rosicrucian teachings got integrated in Freemasonry and the Golden Dawn.
Absolutely.
And like I said I believe it was part 1, if you want to know more, look east. Rosicrucians learned from the east.
No.
So, and then if you want to look even deeper, that's when you start going into Atlantis. You want to go even deeper, that's when you start going to Lemuria. You want to go even deeper, you go into the Hyperborean. You want to go even deeper, you go into the Polarian. You want to go even deeper than that, well, that's when you go into Part 0. And quite frankly, I don't have the capacity to know what's beyond that. So, good luck.
No, you might find local groups within your area that are part of all these orders and have their own virtual group, just like we have here with Andromeda and Milky Way has with Soul Tribe. So you might find different groups of people that have organized around some of this just to get together. If you don't have an All My Relations group, if you don't have a Camp Chesterfield, if you don't have the Rosicrucian, order in California that has the museum, there are a lot of sub-chapters and groups that you can sign up for lecture series and join virtual online discussion groups, right, Nick? There's plenty of them.
Oh, yeah.
Different orders and groups that you can connect with.
Yeah, and me and Jasmine are right now in the making of making our own space to do stuff like that. So we're going to be adding our honey to the pot, essentially, once it's up.
Yeah.
So
it's along similar lines to me and Lori and other people we know. So this is the time to do that, to help people.
Oh, yeah.
embrace
And
it.
I still help out on my relations every now and then. You know, I'm going to still be wanting to be on this panel, you know. So, I plan on having my influence in those areas too. Not just once we start doing our own thing. That's all we're going to be doing now. So,
Yeah.
I would like to highlight that everything that we do is donation based, so it's not like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for when we're starting out. Once we have to get more organized because of demand, once we get to that point, then we'll start making average charges. But yeah, for right now, it's going to be donation based.
Yeah. Most people are in this not so much to me. I mean, there are plenty of spiritual people because they've given up everything for this to help get the message out. So they need to make a way of living.
Right.
And maintaining all the hardware, the software, and all the arts and everything that they put into producing.
Exactly.
So those kinds of donations are very helpful. Absolutely.
Yeah, once I get my classes going up, that'll be a lot more organized type of way of doing about it. So some classes, they'll be free because I consider them entry levels. And I'm not about to have someone pay for something that they can.
Oh my God. Remember the little people, Nick. This has been a debut for you.
Yeah.
You're doing this this series has been your foray into testing the waters, sticking your toe in the waters, because you're going to be doing it for reals.
Yeah.
A whole lot more.
That is the plan.
Well, we're happy to have provided the platform and are honored to have you experience that with us. I know if Lori were here right now, she would be saying the same thing. We're thrilled that we were able to be a part of that with you. And remember us, you know.
Like I said, I'm still going to be wanting to do this every Friday. I like being here, like talking about this stuff.
Well, we enjoy having both of you here too.
Yeah. Me and Jasmine consider y'all friends. So
friends.
Yeah.
Do you want to show them the website that we got so far?
Oh yeah, show them. Let's see what we have here.
I don't really see any questions in the chat, so.
No.
1 second, we're signing in, and then once we're up there, we'll share this tab instead.
Do you need to close out this share screen?
I don't think so. There's something that says share this tab instead, but we're going to wait for it to load before we. Okay.
Let me shrink this down. See if I see anything. There you go.
Can you see it? So yeah, this is what it's going to be called. It's called Divine Time 369. I'll let you take over.
Me?
Yeah. She's the one that's good at tech, so she's been the one, the creative side of it, basically.
Okay. So it's called Divine Time 369, you know, from how much we know that the universe loves 369 and how many. So this is what's come up with. The time is now to discover who you are, to develop your talents, to design your journey. And then these are the services tabs. So you have your divination, divinely guided tarot readings, dowsing rods, runes, oracle decks, and more. Help us to receive and understand messages. And then there's smudging, reclaiming and protecting from negative vibes from a person, place, or thing. Animal Reiki, that's more my forte. So it's animal Reiki, like healing and animal communication. And then regular Reiki, since Nick and I and Brian are all Master Reiki certified in the Ushui. I have a certificate up there.
Yeah, it's called Ushui Reiki.
Yeah. An energetic way to cleanse, heal, and discover things within your field. But yeah. So this is our website. There is like our home section.
I love it. Divine Time 369.
Yeah, it rhymes, right? So here's a section about like my story, a section about Nick's story. We added a tab for course, like
Jazzy. There's Core, Black Raven.
Yeah.
All my relations, Andromeda 7.
Yeah. So if they click on the tabs, honestly, I don't think I've worked on the tabs.
Here you are. There's Nick with his hair fully brushed out.
We
We haven't got to those points yet.
I haven't got to those yet.
Yeah.
But it's cool because you can book online.
I see where you're going with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here are like the classes, and then upcoming events is like, so when we do events like at Camp Chesterfield or events at All My Relation, because sometimes Heather has like parking spots that you can purchase to do stuff, or we want to do like booth things.
Oh yeah, kind of like how Chesterfield puts up the tents. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then like connect to like other stuff. But honestly, I've working a full-time job and doing this stuff, like it takes a minute.
Yeah. So it's not up yet, but we'll give updates once it starts getting
that's awesome.
Foundation.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We already bought the what's it called?
The domain.
Yeah, the domain name and all that. So show that we're serious. We're not just blowing smoke.
Have you picked a physical location yet for group activities or events, or is this all going to be virtual?
For now, it's going to be digital.
Digital.
Well, Hannah did offer us her space. She does when she does her physical therapy, she did offer us to do it there because I'm not a masseuse, right? I wasn't trained in that, but my guides taught me acupressure, Reiki. I don't know.
Yeah.
It works. All I know is that it works. Okay. I did my intuition part and the flow part, and I know it works. I just don't know how to do the logical stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, there you go. That's my 2 cents.
Awesome. Yeah. I must have a delay here. I got a note from Trina. What if the new light is creating a little sensitivity when I feel these trigger energies? Grounding is helping me. Yeah. I do have a time lag here because this should have popped up earlier.
Yeah.
Look, yes, actually, I think that's true. Everybody's becoming a lot more touchy-feely and more sensitive about things. Some people that I know have never expressed empathy are becoming empathetic.
Yeah. We remember we were talking about the Schumann resonance earlier. Let me see if I can find a picture of what's going on so people can get a visual of what it's like.
Because I feel like, honestly, I think intuitively of what's going on with the Schumann resonance is that it's putting us all like in a test state. Like, do you really practice what you preach, kind of thing? Because
yeah.
I feel like that's been happening a lot to me. Like, my sleep has been deprived. Like, I haven't had access to the healthy food that I've been able to because with the
Me either. Yes.
So like a lot of my reserves to have like patience and clear-headed thinking hasn't been working because I haven't had it. So I feel like it's a test of sorts to see if we're really actually practicing what we're preaching.
Don't you feel that way? Yes.
Yeah. I got the current live if you want to show it.
Yeah.
On the present, Teresa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. I see what you're saying, but I would have to shoot this. Hold on a moment. Okay. Fire and water. Is that it?
Yep. So people who are aware of the Schumann resonance, they know that this area right here, that's pretty normal. This stuff and this stuff, ridiculous.
Holy crap, would you look at that?
Absolutely ridiculous. It's like, I think it's like breaking records type stuff like that.
Wow.
The days, like usually like one day.
Yeah, or like one moment. But I think last time I was reading up on it, it's been ongoing for 5 days straight on a super high frequency. So yeah, a lot of people,
we've all been so off. Yeah,
a lot of people, they're not used to this frequency. That's why they're having awakening symptoms, because they are essentially slowly but surely getting forced awakened. So
yeah, but think for a moment what effect this is having on those who are stuck in a cycle or who experience anxiety and they're not spiritually developed and they're not spiritually awake. Wouldn't this amplify some of those traits and attributes that they're having?
It happened to my best friend Jerry, the one that committed suicide.
Yes.
I feel like this played a factor in it. There's a lot of variables, but I feel like this was one of them. He couldn't handle the frequencies.
If you've got a hormonal imbalance of any kind, or you're going through the change, or some women are having to, like I did when I was in my 40s, I balanced out after that, but it does have effect on your hormones, both male hormones and feminine. And since this is a time for balancing and harmony, this can really affect the way you're responding to situations and circumstances. Not that I'm trying to blame something outside of self, because it's not. We're all part of the one thing.
Right.
All of existence, we're all related, right, Jazz?
Yeah, I will say that kind of like how Trina, I didn't know this was happening, right? And I think it was the day that we canceled the show, and I was really upset. I was really like, traffic was getting to me, the sun was getting to me, I was so overstimulated, and I was upset because I was supposed to meet someone for dinner, and I left early, but then there was an accident on there that still made me late, and it was such a cluster. And so I exited the freeway because I was like, I'm not going to be stuck in that mess. And the drive that I ended up taking me through like really beautiful nature scenes with like really pretty like birds singing and like trees and fresh air. And that completely shifted my entire view and of everything that was happening. And then I had to decompress because like I feel like that nature side of things kind of helped me come back to center, and then I had to decompress from all of that extra hormones like you were saying. So then I called Nick and I'm like, what do you think this is about? And he's like, I don't know, let me look up the Schumann resonance. And then he looked it up, and sure enough, it was in the white. And I was like, oh, okay.
Not just regular white, like huge, like full scale.
Yeah, and that's when you were going through a lot of stuff, Lori was going through a lot of stuff, I was going through a lot of stuff, and then the show got canceled, and we're like, okay.
Yep. And I was like, I ain't about to let this mess with me. No, sir. You're not going to keep me down.
No, what'd you do? You stayed home.
Yeah. And I kept working on my project, even though they kept trying to delay it. Even today, they tried delaying it. Because Teresa got that huge headache. So.
It's still
Or not Teresa, Lori.
Lori.
Yeah.
You know, I've been honored that Jasmine has referred to me. He called me out as Lori a couple of times tonight.
Sorry.
But I can't compare. And we love her. And see that, Lori? They're so used to you being in this spot right here that it's like everybody who sits in this chair is Lori.
Yes. I'm sorry.
No. That's no problem. I was just having fun with it. I like what's being said here. Trina was pointing out, I just had it up there. The sun is born in you every 28 days. The chrism, the anointing oil, it is wasted or climbs back up the spine. That's the oil. That's the spiral. And then down here, you responded, Nick, yes, every 28. That's why learning the cosmic calendar is so very important. And find your real astrology chart, not the false Gregorian calendar. That's so true. Yeah.
Let me say 2 cents about that. Just use astrology, MBTI, any type of thing. Use it to self-discover who you are. Don't fall into the trap of that's all that you are. Because if you start putting yourself or identifying with these types of boxes, you're not really going to give yourself a chance to become more than just that Leo, more than just that Aries, more than just that, you know what I mean? Or you'll start using it as a defense mechanism and being like, oh, that's just the Libra in me. Oh, that's just the blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, like using it as an excuse. So,
or you use it to judge others. You read their charts to find out what makes them tick. Just get to know them. You forget the charts.
Right. So I would use it as a tool. Don't use it as a one-all be-all. Use it as like a self-discovery tool. What sounds right, what doesn't sound right, what resonates, what doesn't resonate, you know, and then you still have the freedom to choose what you are. Maybe next year they'll find a different calendar and they'll be like, oh, this is not the real calendar. This is the real calendar. How many times has that going to happen? It's happened 3 times already. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on the matter.
Well, to my knowledge, with astrology, the one I'm about to show you, I know is correct because everything's in a 28-day cycle, like Trina mentioned. So, and there's a reason why there's 13 moons every year. It's not 12, it's 13. The hidden 13. Again, very symbolic in esoteric knowledge for some reason. For some reason, our culture always wants to hide 13. 13 in this case being a Ophiuchus. So I got it up if Teresa wants to present it.
Yep, hang on.
Hold on, let me share screen. I really like this website. It tells you all about the galactic stuff that they don't talk about.
Ooh, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you can see it, I don't know if I can zoom in more. Is there a way I can zoom in more, babe?
Control wheel.
Control wheel? What's wheel?
The mouse wheel.
Oh, the mouse wheel.
Ah,
All right, so this is what is called the galactic zodiac cycle. As you can see, these signs are on very different days. So, for example, my birthday is December 3rd. In the Gregorian calendar, I'm Sagittarius. But in the galactic calendar, I am Ophiuchus, just as an example. So figure out when your actual 28-day cycle starts, and that's when you can correctly tap into that Christos that I and Trina mentioned. You tapping into this Christos and using it correctly is how you tap into the abilities of like popes do with like speaking with God, as an example. That's how you tap in. They're using astral magic, the correct timing, and doing something that everyone else thinks is impossible because they've all been fed a lie. So, some food for thought. Don't take my word for it. Find your day, do it yourself. Tell me all about it. How about that?
Doesn't fit.
that's right. How about that?
How about that?
How about that? I'm trying to get it big enough so I could see a little bit better.
Go back to the screen and
Separation stillness. That's Scorpio. Wait a minute, let's see. Dissolution and dismantling.
So
Yeah,
there is something
yeah.
I would like to note about this, and it's very
Mhm.
unique for everyone who is currently alive. So the Gregorian calendar was set up due to the miasma that was created through dark magic. It messed up the whole
Yeah.
space time continuum, whatever you want to call it. Like it messed up the whole balance of it. So the Gregorian calendar was made to compensate for that. So if you were born before 2012, which was when the miasma started clearing, that was one of the end times. It was symbolic for the Aquarius age, and all the Aquarius age is all about the age of information. It illuminates everything. So what happens when things illuminate? It gets cleared up. So that miasma started breaking down, and Ophiuchus started reappearing again in the calendars. And if you were noticing in the news during the time when it was happening, they were even talking about Ophiuchus, although it was brief. So essentially with what this means is, if you are behooved to do it, I do it because the more utility I have under my belt, the better my advantage. Is that since we were born during the miasma and exist after it, you have two natal charts, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I'm December 3rd. So not only can I tap into Sagittarius energy, along with all the other energies in that chart, I can also tap into my new Ophiuchus chart, along with all the energies that are incorporated into that, and on the other different planets and the moon sign and the rising and all that. So, very math nerds. Math nerds will see a discrepancy on like the timing and stuff like that. Well, it's mostly because our concept of time completely false. I'm pretty sure at this point 365 days isn't even correct for a year, because gradually over time there was always that snippet of like, I think it's like a few minutes that gets disregarded in the calendars. So you start adding that up hundreds of thousands of years, you start getting days, even years not accounted for. So if people are going like math isn't adding up, it's not adding up on purpose. So the best.
I look at this far right hand side.
Yeah.
Fire, earth, air, and water. You see, there are 1, 2, 3. So you have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. They're all fire.
Right.
Purification and calcination, digestion and conversion, incineration, and resurrection. So those 3 dates, December 18th through January 18th, this is a cycle in of itself. Look at the first one, April through May. Then it comes back again, August through September. Then it comes back again, December through January. So there's a cycle there where that fire energy comes in through Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. But you see the exact same thing with Earth. There's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. 3. They're in 3s, and they're 3 different cycles where that energy comes into play.
Yep.
They're not on top of each other. So every quarter or every 3 months, you have another. The outlier here is Ophiuchus. How you say that? Ophiuchus?
Ophiuchus.
Okay, Ophiuchus.
It's the 13th sign. For some reason in Western culture, 13 is always hidden. And the reason behind that symbolism is because 13 is supposed to symbolize the glue that connects the other 12. So it's there, it's just not obviously shown.
So you have spring, summer, fall, and winter. And each one of these has a role: fire, earth, air, and water. See the December through April, and then you have the spring, April, May, June, and then you have summer. So it follows so this is what you mean by the calendar.
Yes.
The cycles and this. Okay. Wow.
Yep. True.
That's certainly a different way of yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that this is my way of showing it. What I also find interesting is that Ophiuchus and Pisces also represent the ether element. Which is very.
There's Pisces with it. Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Which makes sense to me because every Ophiuchus or Pisces that I've ever met, whether it was pre-2012 or post-2012, they tend to have a lot of talent in the metaphysical.
So. Yeah, you see this here down here. Ascension. So Pisces is ascension, perfection, Christos, Sophia, spirit.
Yep.
Wow. Can you send me a copy of this chart when you get a chance?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Understanding this chart will help you understand your true 28-day cycle. And that will actually help you tap in with that Christos oil that is in your spinal fluid to where you can start doing the woo-woo correctly. So. How so? It's just the timing. So it's a limit. It's a finite resource, right? It's not like we're just spewing this whenever we want, however we want, because we're in the material plane. So it kind of, to me, this lesson shows us that it's important. Like, for example, if there was no such thing as us passing away, we wouldn't really care about hurting ourselves. Just as an example. The same way with if this was easily tapped into, we wouldn't understand the importance of communing with spirit.
I see. Okay, that's a good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cancer feeds Leo. Cancer dissolutions and dismantles so that Leo can digest and convert. Oh my God.
Yeah, I haven't studied every sign, but the reason why Ophiuchus is considered unification and wound healing is because those are traits of that zodiac sign. So the snake, the Ophiuchus is considered the snake bearer, and snake symbolism is for healing and evolution. While another part of it for the unification process is, I believe, the guy that's holding the snake or whatever, he's supposed to signify this wizard or leader type archetype that represents the unification, which also represents its number of the zodiac sign, the 13th sign, because it's hidden. Unification being it's the glue that puts all the other 12 together, puts them in an orderly space. That's what 13th. That's why 13th is hidden. It's hidden in plain sight. Another example that I like to bring up is also the they do this in the Chinese zodiacs in the race where all the 12 animals, they were racing each other, right? Well, there was a 13th animal The 13th animal being the cat. The cat was not represented in the race because the mouse tricked the cat in thinking the race was the next day. So that is their symbolism showing
Yeah.
sign, but it's not being shown. So that's another good example I like to bring up.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm just looking at I'm also seeing it here with the two in November, Scorpio and the Ficus, right?
Right.
So separation and stillness. One needs to be still to allow the unification for wound and healing. You see how they go together as partner?
Oh, you see it as like
I never realized. Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's kind of like how they do with the Elder Futhark, how each rune has things attached to it that tells a bigger story. Yeah, I can see that.
Yes.
I see what you're picking up on.
And when you pick up on all of this and put them all together, there's something a lot bigger going on than you think in terms of the interaction that different people and individuals can have together in those situations. Well, look, we've gone way over. It's 11:13. It's been enjoyable, a beautiful finale.
Yeah, and, y'all got me ranting, so I wanted to share more.
No, I appreciate it. Go ahead, Brian. You noticed something too, Brian?
No, I just want to thank Nick for all the time and effort that he put in for this presentation. I am so grateful and honored to be sitting on this panel while you give this information out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
Agree. Couldn't agree more, Nick. Thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure. And we hope to do more, of course, moving in the future with all of this. Listen, folks, we probably are going to take a couple weeks off. I'm moving from Maryland to Reno, Nevada. And Lori's helping me with all of that because it's in her neck of the woods. So we're going to take a couple weeks break so I can have time to settle in and get my wits about me. There's so much to do.
And congratulations, Teresa.
Thank you. Thank you. Finally, my dream has come true. I have the most beautiful space, and we're cleaning it up and making it really nice so that when I'm ready to move into it for reals, it'll be fantastic space for energy, friends, new community. Really looking forward to it. So, and Lori and her mom have been a blessing to me beyond belief. And both my agents, both my real estate agents have been fantastic because I have not been the easiest person for them to deal with at times through this process. So anyway, with that said, we'll touch base with you, keep you posted, take a look, and we'll try to get in there whenever we can. But I got to set up my internet so I can do this, So love to you all. Have a very terrific weekend and a terrific week ahead. And because you won't be hearing from me a whole lot. And I know I've been a little bit in the background here lately and not as active as much, but we'll get back into the swing once I get settled. It's been a lot more than I knew there would be. So love you all so much. Good night. We love you. And thank you for being part of our program and supporting us and being here with us. And Nick, congratulations. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And if I could, so I'm going to do the yay! Woo, woo, woo! Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.